Republican Congressman and House Majority Whip Tom Emmer of Minnesota is standing by. We will begin with Garrett Tenney on the ground in Minneapolis. Garrett.
Harris, activists are extremely well organized here in the Twin Cities, and they are so much so that they are able to harass federal agents here at almost every turn, including when they're just trying to use the bathroom. Fox got an exclusive ride-along with federal agents, Border Patrol yesterday, to give our viewers a sense of what it is that they are facing on a daily basis here. This video is from outside a gas station where Border Patrol stopped just to use the bathroom, and you can see how fast a crowd formed outside, getting into agents' faces as they walked back to their cars. Then a few minutes later, some of the activists tried blocking off the agents, blocking them in and forcing the officers to get out to try to clear the road. One person allegedly spat at the agents, and you can see when several agents were trying to detain that person, some of the crowd tried to break in to free that individual as officers were trying to take them into custody. Agents deployed tear gas and pepper spray to clear the crowd and just to be able to get out of there. This past hour, Commander Greg Bavino said activists need to realize the federal government isn't going to stop doing its job to enforce the laws of our country.
We're not going to be deterred in conducting the Title VIII mission, no matter what that climate is, no matter that violent rhetoric by Mayor Frey, Waltz, and others, individuals that come into churches. So CS gas, pepper balls, a whole litany of less lethal devices were used to ensure that our agents, those agitators and rioters, and the public were safe, and that we continue to conduct that mission.
Yeah, we're told that Vice President J.D. Vance will be meeting with some of the ICE and Border Patrol agents who have been operating here to express his thanks and his support for their ongoing efforts to enforce the immigration laws of our country, despite the increasingly hostile conditions that they are facing here, both from a weather perspective and from the growing protests that are not letting up. Despite temperatures well below zero, protests are expected to continue today and tomorrow. Harris?
Thank you very much for getting us started, Garrett. Tom Emmer, House Majority Whip and Republican Congressman of the great state of Minnesota, is with me now. And of course, returning its greatness is what everybody is focusing on right now, with a whole lot of chaos going on the ground in the Twin Cities. I first of all want to get your response to what happened with City's Church on Sunday.
Totally unacceptable, Harris, and thank you for having me. Thanks for reporting on this. And God bless President Trump and J.D. Vance for bringing the attention they brought to the lawlessness that we have in the Twin Cities. Entering into a church and disrupting a faith community in the practice of their faith is totally unacceptable. Hats off to Pam Bondi, the organizer of that so-called protest. Was arrested this morning. I understand a school board member from the city of St. Paul was arrested as well. And hopefully there'll be others. The way this is going to end is, one, you got to start honoring the rule of law. Two, law enforcement has to work together. And it's very sad what's happening in our state, but I'm hopeful that it's going to settle down very soon. People are going to come to their senses. And let's point out, Harris, the people that you're seeing in these videos, the vast majority of them, I'm going to tell you, I do not believe are from Minnesota. These are organized chaos agents. There are agitators that are paid. The vast majority of Minnesotans that I know that are talking to me, they appreciate the fact that federal law enforcement has arrived, and they are happy they're there picking up rapists, murderers, child sex offenders. I mean, that's the story that needs to get out. That Tim Walz and Keith Ellison have allowed these people to walk our streets for years in spite of deportation orders and convictions. And finally, the federal government is doing the job that they've refused to do.
Yeah, you know, what's hard to believe, and you mentioned that school board member, I checked her out, her profile out. She has a job that deals with children. There were children who were frightened inside that church. And I'm looking at this background of Chantil Allen, who is the person who's arrested along with the other who they suspect helped organize all of this. I mean, these are people actually in the community. Your reaction to that?
Well, look, when you've got leaders like Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, and you got this poor excuse for a mayor in Minneapolis, you've got woke prosecutors who want to prosecute cops instead of criminals. Harris, I'm not surprised that these people are encouraged to make these stupid decisions, which clearly don't fit with what their background is. But now you hold them accountable. That's the key.
Right.
You want to break the law. You want to go after someone's faith community. Guess what? You violated federal law. You're going to be charged, and hopefully you're convicted. And people see that you can't do this stuff. You're going to be held accountable.
A new opinion piece says this: when Christians are under attack, Keith Ellison, that's the AG of Minnesota, looks the other way. The Minnesota Attorney General denied that the angry mob broke federal law in that horrible church storming. A former pastor of that church and friend of the head pastor there, who was preaching at the time when all this happened, was with me in Focus yesterday.
Every town in this country is filled with people like this who want to worship Jesus, love one another, serve their neighbors, seek the good of their cities. To have these lawless demonstrators, these lawless agitators enter in, take over the service, yell, scream, frighten children was absolutely appalling. And I think it's appalling that the state officials there and the mayor seem to not be concerned about it.
Pastor Rigney speaking the truth there. Look, the AG says the mob did not violate any clearly stated laws. Well, actually, clearly they did. They were violating the attempt to interfere, or they were perpetrating the attempt to interfere with a lawful gathering in a place of religious worship. And that is prohibited.
It is, Harris. It is, Harris. But there's another thing he said, which is this behavior did not violate the First Amendment. This is what they do. They just go to talking points. Keith Ellison is a lawyer. He's our attorney general. He's an embarrassment. He would prefer to prosecute cops and defend criminals rather than doing his job. And by the way, when you suggest that interrupting a faith community while they're worshiping is a exercise of your First Amendment rights, I would suggest he head back for a refresher course in law school, because he clearly didn't learn the law, because he certainly doesn't understand.
Or go back to 9th grade and study the Constitution. All right.
That's an idea.
Those federal agents also are focused on Minnesota's massive fraud scandal. So there's a lot going on in your state right now. That was the topic of a House hearing yesterday. And a key witness, independent journalist Nick Shirley, whose videos magnified the attention to the fraud, testified this. He laid out what he calls a mountain of red flags, apparently ignored by Minnesota Democrat leaders. Watch.
While people like Governor Tim Walz call people like me a white supremacist, delusional conspiracy theorist, he actually decided to drop out of re-election because I believe of how deep and extensive this fraud is. I made this video to document the widespread fraud that has been taking place, as I truly believe all fraud is bad. And people like me, my generation, we're sick of seeing tax dollars go towards fraud.
Well, and the debate isn't just playing out in Congress. It's exploding across the culture as well. Author and human rights activist Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who was born in Somalia, says the West is being overwhelmed. And she says President Trump is right to sound the alarm on that.
Trying to erase that culture that, yes, has made us so wealthy and so powerful is wrong, and Trump is right. And in this case, I think he's using the bully pulpit, the office of the president, to get that point across.
Congressman, I want to hear all about your legislation to strip naturalized citizenship from convicted fraudsters, terrorists, and felons. Tell us about it.
Absolutely. First off, I want to compliment you for playing Nick Shirley again. That young man found more fraud in a matter of hours than Tim Walz and Keith Ellison have found in 7 years. And you know why? Harris, because he looked for it.
Exactly.
They refused. They've looked the other way. You got whistleblowers out there that say Tim Walz and Keith Ellison were told about the fraud when it was happening, that they not only ignored the whistleblowers, they retaliated against him. This will all be exposed in an upcoming grand jury, I hope, that our U.S. attorney is going to hold. But going forward, I have authored something called the Scam Act. It's our naturalization laws in this country already provide that if you commit, for instance, marriage fraud to circumvent immigration laws, it doesn't matter if you've been naturalized as a U.S. citizen. You can be denaturalized. What we are doing is expanding that law to include someone who commits an aggravated felony, someone who's involved in espionage, somebody who's connected with a terrorist group, and somebody who defrauds the generosity of the American people. I got news for you. If you come to this country and you want to lie, cheat, and steal and not assimilate and become an American, you can be denaturalized, and you should be sent back to where you came from.
Real quickly, is that because it would appear that that's an act of citizen sedition? I mean, to work against us, to use our tax money against us?
Well, I look at it this way. Citizenship is not a right, Harris. It's a privilege. You come to this country because it's the greatest country on the face of the planet to chase your version of the American dream. If you came here from a country where you have to lie, cheat, and steal to survive, like Somalia, and you continue to lie, cheat, and steal and take advantage of Americans' generosity, I don't care what your purpose is. You do not deserve to be a citizen of this country, and you should be denaturalized and sent back to where you came from.
Congressman Emmer, great to have you in focus today. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, Harris.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.